legendary person in himself, J-Rock Juicy Ebony, the resident father of the Gulf Coast mainstream and Kiki scene. And so I think that this individual needs no introduction. Many of you know who he is in the room. When we talk about being a steward of passion, being a steward of fathership, and just really pushing people out there to get out there in ballroom and housing kids and being an extension of what the definition of ballroom is from what we all see on TV. J-Rock is here, okay? So we want to make some noise for everybody on the stage as we welcome to the And so like I said, in today's session, we're going to be taking a look at ballroom, navigating through their own experiences, but I see some other ballroom folk in the room. So if y'all all want to activate or ask questions, I want you to feel empowered to do so, or even to share your experiences, because this is an intimate space. Today is our space. And before we begin, I want to set some ground rules, okay? First is that we're going to lead with respect, meaning that we all have a lived experience, and my experience is my own, and I respect you for the things that you've been through, and I will hope that you respect me too. Because it's this idea about transformational knowledge that can only take place once we value and root everything that we do in respect. Another thing that I want to elevate, which is an extension of respect, is called Don't Yuck My Yum. What I do and what I choose to do may not be what you choose to do, and what you do may not be what I choose to do. And so, in the essence of respect, it's about us being able to see each other for where we are, being able to acknowledge our differences. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree so we can move forward and move beyond. The third one is, we're here, we got presence, but I want everybody to be able to have presence and being present, okay? So it's the idea of having presence in the present. And that means that I want you to actively listen. I want you to be empowered to ask questions. I want you to be willing to share your own personal stories and narratives about things that you may hear or experience tonight, which may directly impact you, okay? And lastly, I want you to have fun. Grab some pizza, get a cocktail. For those of you all who showed up here on time, the drinks are my favorite word, F-R-E-E, free. And who does not love a free C-O-C-K-T-A-I-L. Cock and tail. We got free cock and free tails in the building. All right? So we're going to start at the top short. Because I know many of y'all in the room know about the history of ballroom, but I want to give J-Rock the opportunity to talk about the history of ballroom abroad. And then I want you to take that point and talk about the history of ballroom within the Gulf Coast, the region that we all are a part of.
Well, good afternoon. Well, it's evening now, huh? I wake up at all times. I just woke up in the DJ booth, so you got to get sleep when you can. But ballroom, just a brief history, like they said, started by Afro-Latina, Crystal of Asia. Ballroom is somewhere where, we just said, shoot, Trump in office, so we can say what we want to say these days. White folks didn't want to let us let us be who we wanted to be, even in the LGBTQIA community way back when, right? So if you see a documentary called The Queen, where she was being in a pageant scene, and she seen that a lot of things were set up for her to lose, even though a lot of people felt that she was the best for the pageant. It was setting it up for her to lose. Because why? She wasn't white. You see what I'm saying? We already know how that goes. So they rebelled, and they said, we're going to make something for ourselves. So they started going underground and started doing stuff for the Black and Latino community. From that derived other categories and things when it came down to ballroom and the categories that we had then and today. And it just keeps on, we just keep getting more and more categories, new stuff started expanding. But in doing that, we started finding other people like us, like the children of the ballroom and everything. You got those trans mothers that was going out there getting those young people off the piers and being thrown away. It wasn't like, even though we're not as progressive as we think, it wasn't today. We all know that back then, that when you came out, you were not accepted. Not by your family, not by the United States, not by anybody. So those thrown away children had to go somewhere. And they went to the trans mothers, and the trans mothers took care of them. But while they were up in New York taking care of them, they used to do a thing called Ballroom, where they started all the ballroom and they used to come compete. And they were in houses and everything. So they used to do all this stuff that y'all see on YouTube today. But, like I always say, when the lights went out and the ball was over and they didn't compete, they didn't got their trophies, they had to go somewhere. They had to go somewhere. And where did they go? They went to real houses, i.e. like the House of Ebony, which I'm from. I had to learn that it's not just a ballroom house. It was literally the House of Ebony at 778 Hancock Street in Bedford-Stuyvesant, New York. If you go to that house, Larry Pralo's mother moved out to make sure that her son could have a house for his gay children. So everybody went to a house, but now it's spreaded and it's international, worldwide, and sometimes we still have to do that. A lot of these people come to us because they're ostracized by family or they're trying to find their tribe. And we're their mothers, we're their fathers. We take care of them outside of ballroom, whether it's education, health resources, job opportunities, all of that. But we still compete on the ballroom floor in different categories. So that's kind of like a brief history of it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can go watch Parents is Burning. I like watching that. Y'all can watch Kiki, which is the Kiki version of mainstream. Y'all can watch that, it's on Hulu, all right? Just to get a little brief, get some more in depth of it. Ballroom 101 is really like a class. Now, as it comes down to the Gulf Coast, because a lot of people, they think that we're just so new. But I can swear for God that 2005 is like, how many years ago? Exactly. So, in the Gulf Coast, there was all, hey baby, I graduated in 2000, it's 20 years. But, no, but in the Gulf Coast, like you had ballroom on the East Coast, you had ballroom in the Midwest, you had ballroom on the West Coast, and then you had ballroom in Atlanta and Florida. And the Gulf Coast really was throwing like balls as in, I would say, we call them, exhibition balls. Basically, like we used to go to the Brick, or we'll go to Bartini's down in Houston, or we will go to 2020 down in Houston, and we would do exhibition, maybe like 3 or 4 categories. And then after Hurricane Katrina came, around Hurricane Katrina time, 2005, around that time, that's as far back as I can take it. The kids had to go somewhere. A lot of kids went to Atlanta. A lot of kids came over to Houston. And a lot of those kids that went to Houston, they started having the exhibition balls. Then they started having balls like the Harajuku ball and all those balls with DJ Nega and all of them in the House of Bottega and all of them. So they started having balls down there in 2005. You kind of fast forward up to around 2007, 2008, here in Dallas, Texas. You had Shamar Dupree. He was a Revlon at the time. He started having balls at Elm and Pearl. So then you go to Elm and Pearl, because they were trying to get the ballroom started. It had already started down in Houston. The houses had been down there. Jack, Selden, all of them had graced us. Andre Mizrahi, the icon, they had graced us. They had been down there. So we started at Elm and Pearl. Started having like a Sunday, maybe once a month Vogue night with a ball and everything. It started getting more and more. Then he had the first 007 ball. He called it the 007 ball in 2008. Then he had the lipstick ball. Then after he started having the lipstick ball, we started having our mini balls in the middle. You got Trey, came back home from Atlanta. We had Trey Garçon at the time. He was Trey Miyaki Mugler. He came back home. He started working. Tony started working. Stasha started coming down here and helping us out. Eventually, we got an alliance going. We found out that the founding father, which was Larry Ebony, actually lived in Fort Worth. So we was like, wait, we have people that can actually cultivate ballroom here. It went from lipstick ball to the 24 karat ball to the House of Escada Mission Possible ball. Now we got icons, legends coming down here to Texas and Dallas and Houston, and that's basically how it pretty much got started down here. Who the hell did that? But that's pretty much how it got started down here in the Gulf Coast, from Houston to Dallas, and now it's Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, Central Texas, and 2015, the Kiki scene came because, you know, like with everything else, pageant, everything else in the gay world, the veterans start feeling themselves, don't nobody want to work together. The mainstream was kind of struggling. They were struggling. We wasn't having as many balls. We was only having Juneteenth and Gay Pride. So I went to Africa Juicy, and we started Kiki Balls down in Houston, Texas at RM Society, which was ran by Legacy Group. And we started there because the parents is in the room. We really started because we was stealing space in apartment complexes just to have Vogue sessions. And we got tired of running from the police and the security and trying to say, maybe it ain't had nothing to do with, you know, just abandoned buildings, apartments. That's how we had to do. So RM Society had a drop-in space on Jackson Street. And we asked them, could we utilize the space? We started there. Africa Juicy moved from New York. We started the Kiki scene. We started the Kiki Balls then. Then when I came back home, because I was in the military, I got back stationed home. I was getting all the kids ready for a ball called Girls Just Want to Have Fun for the mainstream. Once they walked that ball, they kept coming, and we started a Vogue Academy here. And then from there, I started the Kiki scene. And then now it's been grew from, I don't know, a few people to, I don't even know how many people we got on the Kiki scene in the Gulf Coast. It's almost, and I believe it, because now it's Dallas, Houston, Central Texas, and all these people came from just us saying, let's do something for the youth and the younger people that actually want to walk balls and stuff, and we started the Kiki scene, which is now feeding back into the mainstream, and now the mainstream is coming back up and growing. So that's a brief history of the Gulf Coast.
And so, like, you said many of things. So, like, in context of the local ballroom history, there's a few names that I do want to elevate that you mentioned. One, which is Shamar Dupree Collins, as being like one of the originators of being able to create space where folk could come and compete and connect in terms of family. And then you said another name, Trey. You said Stash, and you said Africa. So I want to elevate those folk into the space because they're not here, but they are a part of the legacy in which we are currently representing. But it was something that you talked about when you talked about the history of ballroom that had me think. And what I kept hearing in my mind was that advocacy. And for me, based off what you said, I view ballroom, or the root of ballroom, as this extension of advocacy. Because Crystal LeBay just said that y'all don't see it for me. I know I was supposed to win, but guess what? I'm going to create a space for me to where I can see it for me and other people like me. So she had to step out on faith and chose to advocate to create something for those folk like her. And like, I think that throughout that process of her advocacy, she then started to advocate for those kids and those youth and those young people that had no place to go, and this idea of this structure that we all come home. Because when I think of home, I think love, I think of family, I think of unity. I don't know why the African word of umoja just played in my mind. But I think of all of these things. But at its core, what I think that a lot of people don't realize is that ballroom was nothing but advocacy. It was about creating a space where people who were brown, black and brown, queer folks could come and be seen and find value. And I think that over time it's translated into competition, it's translated into a way of living and a lifestyle for many people. But at its core, I feel like it's advocacy and expression. So with that leading into my next question, and we can start with you, Boy, is that for you, what does ballroom mean to you?
To me personally, Ballroom is a safe place. I grew up in church, for those who know me in real life. I grew up in church, and I dealt with a lot of judgment. I dealt with a lot of, side eyes and stuff like that. And so when I was introduced to Ballroom and Ballroom was explained to me to be this place that I can come and be myself, I gave it a try. And no shade, I have met some of the best people of my life in Ballroom. I really don't know where I would be if I never joined Ballroom. I don't know where I would be if I never met a Wayne, a Unbothered, a Gorgeous Gucci, a Ebony, a Nike. It's no shade. These people have poured in something to me whether they realize it or not. And this is probably the best thing that ever happened to me. So to go back to your question, Ballroom to me is a safe place. It's a place that you can be yourself and you can actually receive love that you never felt before. No shade. Yeah.
Let's go, media.
Hey, girl. I've been in Ballroom for a long time, and I think that roughly maybe every 5 or 6 years it kind of changes why I'm a part of Ballroom. I can tell you I joined Ballroom originally because it was the thing to do when I was at that young age. In Chicago, it was the thing to do. Everybody that I hung out with was in a house. So it was kind of like something that I just fell into. Then 5 years later, you have to have a reason to keep going, right? And it starts to kind of build family. And so now at this point, you don't want to let your family down. I get my own roses. No bitches have to give it to me. So by being one of the creme girls, I knew that for my house, I represent 9.5 out of 10 times a guaranteed trophy. So not letting my family down, making sure that we at least had a win that night, even if it was just my win, was something that I didn't want to let them down and I was proud to do. Now we got maybe another 5 years later after that, right? Now it's crazy. I built this dynamic, beautiful, loving, caring bloodline. Majority of my kids are from Texas, by the way of Dallas, with maybe my 3 original being Midwest babies. And watching them, their hunger, their wanting to navigate through this subculture that we're a part of, fuels me to continue to be a part of Ballroom, because I remember being them and I remember somebody pouring into me and showing me that I was the star that I was. And so to be able to feed that into my bloodline and then the individuals that I personally touch, it's a beautiful thing. So that's why I'm here. I still do it. I'm probably going to do it for another 5 years.
Could you repeat the question, please?
So what does Ballroom mean to you?
The question and answer. My name is J. No. What Ballroom means to me. To be honest with you, I literally came to Ballroom out of basically like I don't even know how to say it. It was Hurricane Katrina. Like it was Hurricane Katrina and tragic. Everybody left. Everybody had left New Orleans and everything, and I was on the stay behind team, right? So that was 40 days and 40 nights of But when my kids came back to New Orleans, like we was kind of like the safe space, because people's stuff was all tore up and everything. But on the West Bank, nothing happened to my place, so I just was letting people stay. Even if you wasn't my kid and you needed to check on your stuff on the in the 9th Ward or whatever, you can stay over by my place. But they was bringing back ServeTheKids.com and all these different, look at Amaya, look at Country, look at it. I'm like, what is this? What is it, right? I didn't know what it was. So then when I seen Andre Mizrahi standing on top of his head, and I remember the Apollo. I remember seeing him on the Apollo. So I was like, so this is what he do, and they explained Ballroom to me. I didn't think I was gonna really get into it at that time. But I found that being in the military under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, sometimes it's just a lot of misogyny, just macho, macho, macho. When am I going to be able to tap in to find out who I really am? I already knew I was gay. I had gay family that I found in New Orleans, people that took care of me. My kids really is my parents, to be honest. But, you know, telling me where not to go and all this stuff and taking care of me. But I didn't have nothing to do. I couldn't do pageants because why? I would have to continue to do the pageants and, you know, uphold the crown and all that. And I didn't know what to do. So then when I moved back to Dallas and Shamar started doing the balls at Elm and Pearl, I'm at home, I'm stationed at home, I can go to Elm and Pearl, and I started seeing it and having a performing arts background. I was like, well, I'm gonna do the gayest thing I can, and I just started walking between European runway just so I can feel like I can feel me. I can, you know what I'm saying, find who I really am and kind of like embrace being who I am. And so it was a way to get away from, you know, the military all day, rah, 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 whatever. And like I said, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a thing at that time. Then I'm doing it for me, but then all of a sudden it turned into my calling, which was people's lives. I can never escape my actual calling. What are y'all doing? What's going on? Oh, okay, because I seen the hand go over. I thought you were saying woo, woo, woo. But no, but I actually found my calling. One thing that I can never run from is, like you say, advocacy and public service. That's just something that's in me from my grandparents and everything. I'm always looking to somebody to see, well, what can I do to make people's situation better? And I started saying that, yeah, we having fun, but like I said, when the lights go off, this person don't know where they going. They are 17 years old and they ain't never been in trouble, ain't got no record, but their parents don't want them. Or they're out here sleeping on the street, or they don't know where their next meal gonna come from. So I started saying stuff like that. Me being a Navy recruiter, I started putting people in the Navy. No shade. I started putting, because why? You can have a first and a 15th paycheck, you got a roof over your head, you got benefits, and you can still do what I'm doing, which is slamming my back, walking runway. You see what I'm saying? And doing all these kind of things and being gay. So I found advocacy, like you said, I found advocacy in it and serving people and those things, and it just started going on and on. I was like, I'm gonna do it a little bit. It turned to 5 years, 10 years. Now we on 17, going on 18 years, and I don't know, it just, all this happened. We came to Marty's, Rude Boy let us, now this thing grew, and it's a lot. Shout out to Rude Boy and Marty's for giving us a place to actually come express ourselves every Wednesday night. So that's what it means to me. Like, it's really family advocacy, like actually being there, the ups, the downs, and everything. You still know that this is a culture. It's not just what people see on YouTube. This is literally our chosen families. We see each other more than we see our blood family sometimes. We take care of each other more than we take care of our blood family sometimes. Yes. To the point, if you do not accept my children in my blood family, you do not accept me. So I won't come around you if you do not accept my children. And that's why my children calls my mom Grands. And she know, they call my grandmother, rest in peace, Grands. And they know, respect my children, because this is not no gay stuff and no play. I don't have no play kids. These are my children. This is who I love. This is who I chose. If you can go and adopt a kid and love them, why can't I adopt in the gay community? So that's what it became to me. So it's very important to me, Ballroom.
So I think that, one, thank y'all for sharing your experiences. And though different, there were many common threads. Did y'all get the common threads? So in the beginning, I talked about like ballroom being like this new age form of advocacy, of people finding ways to create space, not for just themselves, but to create space for community. But Boy said something that really made me think. Boy said is that ballroom was a space where I found out I could be myself, where I had the freedom to be me. And there's been so many people that have been able to impart into me And then going from that, Gia said, well, ballroom, I did ballroom because ballroom was the thing to do. But when I got in it, I realized that, dang, I could do it and I could win. And even though if my family wasn't winning, they could count on me to win. So that means that they could live through me and my win. And that pushed me to go out there further because I knew that people were relying on me. Right? And moving forward to J-Rock's perception of, well, I don't know where to go. And in the world was crazy, but ballroom was the outlet where I could finally be gay. And I could love that, and I could find value in that. And there was a community of people that could also find value in that, and that I was able to create this inheritance of family. And I think that a lot of times for folk who are not a part of the ballroom community on the outside looking in, ballroom always gets archetyped as it's always drama, or it's always a mess. But I also think it's important to know that from an internal perspective, when we talk about ballroom, this is my family. You know, and on the outside world looking in, you ain't gonna let nobody talk to your mama like they crazy. You're not gonna let nobody do your kids any type of way. And so for many people in ballroom, we are connected in more ways than within our chosen family than we are with even our blood family. Right? Just me personally, there are things that I would do for the individuals a part of my house that I would never do for my personal family, because it's that level of advocacy that it has created when no one wanted to advocate for what was important to me, because ballroom creates spaces for people to be seen. And I think that even in the act of being a part of ballroom, we don't realize how important that piece is. You know, because we're just in the motions. We compete, we win our grand prizes, we go on to balls, we root on our house members, we read, because you know we're at my house and we get into it. But at the root of it is that we're doing it with just cause, because ballroom has intrinsically created this space to where I can find myself, to where I love myself, to where I can be confident in myself, and I'm proud of that. And I feel like you're trying to play with that, it's on board. But in our own internal community, it's a part of our culture. But external to our community, people don't understand that until you make it real for them. And in essence of moving forward, talking about making ballroom real and talking about how ballroom has been able to impact the lives of folk, I'm an avid believer in thinking that ballroom, or things that you learn from ballroom, can help you navigate the professional world. It can help you navigate the world outside of ballroom, and etc. So I want to know from you all, how has ballroom helped you navigate life beyond ballroom?
So I'm gonna go into when I formerly was doing community work. I'm working for a local agency here in Dallas, Texas. Honestly, ballroom helped me be able to connect the dots, right? So like, as the organization I was a part of was launching their transgender program, seeing that at that moment, at the time, I was one of the scene's favorite femme queens, it was easy for me to recruit for the program, to be able to connect the young ladies to the resources that we were offering, as well as be able to get the agency that I work for the participation that we needed for our program to be launched 100%, right? So as far as if we're talking about a career or what can it have done for the community, it really helped this one individual be able to connect the dots with multiple women, to be able to relay them from just thinking, knowing, and possibly trying different avenues, to be able to know that it's in their community, it's in their neighborhood, and it's super accessible by just being that one person that happens to connect the dots. So as far as activisty work, I just said it right, didn't I?
Activism, right. Activism is fun, Tony!
Okay, no, it is what it is. But, no, but I'll talk about yeah, it helped me connect the dots. Honestly, y'all, it made our numbers increase. It made me be able to reach the girls. Honestly, I have a young lady that's currently in one of my organizations that I'm a part of, the House of Nike, shout out to us. I didn't recognize her off rip, right? And upon her coming to our organization, she was like, girl, you started me on my hormones. And I looked at her, and I stared at her, and I said, oh my God, I did, right? So just being able to have that connection, mind you, I haven't spoken to her in such a good amount of time because I did leave the profession. But it was just a breath of fresh air to know that the ladies were still accessing those services. They were still blossoming in their womanhood and be able to see that sometimes my sacrifice, as far as blurring the lines, was purposeful, and it made a difference in both aspects. She's able to, be able to blossom in her womanhood, and also in ballroom side, she is, when she decides to participate, she is actually a winning girl, and so I think it plays into also her self-esteem at the same time. So yeah, ballroom is overall a good place. Any family's gonna have their ups and downs. Look at our current democracy that we're currently in. It's gonna have its ups and downs. I think it's just about how we're rolling with the punches. We can judge each other, or we can just kind of accept what we're kind of going through as humans, and just let the people, grow as a family.
Yeah. Okay. First off, because this is on my mind, so I'm gonna say this real quick. Okay. For all you big fake bitches in the motherfucking crowd, I better have a slice of pizza when I get no shade. Okay. To your question, if I can be very transparent with you, I think I'm still trying to figure that out.
And that's okay.
I was trying to sit here and think of like, a real good answer to give out, and I really don't have one. I'm really trying to figure that out. I know that I do love this community. I know that I want to be a part of it. I want to grow in it, and I want to do more than just walk the ball. But as far as like what it's doing for me in my real life and stuff like that, I don't know yet. I really don't. And I think that that'll be like the most beautiful thing once I do figure it out. And I'm excited for that. But as of right now, I don't know.
So, what has it done for me in real life and professionally? I always hear, for the 17 years that I've been in ballroom, you can't put ballroom on resume. Hey, girl, y'all doing all this ain't gonna do nothing for you. Blah, 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 blah. No, that's you. It didn't do nothing for you. See, me, it did a lot for me professionally. Why? Because I was in the world's most powerful military organization, the United States Navy, right? And when I was in there, there's this rank called United States Navy Chief. Some people do 20 years and never make that rank, right? When I became a first class petty officer, that was all that I was a second class saying, if I can make first class, I'm good. I'm just a hood boy from Dixon Circle in South Dallas. So for me to just make second class was good. So they told me I wasn't gonna make it through boot camp. So now I'm a second class. I said, if I can make first class petty officer, I'm good. I stayed first class petty officer for a while, and I kept taking the chief exam, kept passing it, but I could not make the board, right? And they kept saying, and I kept saying, well, what do I need to do to make the board? I kept missing something. It was called volunteer service medal. For some reason, they kept looking for a volunteer service medal, right? Only for me to complain at our M Society in Houston, Texas. I was there on a night, Tuesday night, that's why they still have voting on Tuesday nights. And I said, man, and Sylvester, his name was Sylvester, I forgot what his first name was, but Sylvester Ian Haddock, I know y'all know Ian from the Normal Anomaly. I was complaining to them about, man, I mean, if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't, because I made where I wanted to be. But it's kind of disheartening when you keep passing an exam with flying colors, but you don't make board because you're missing something. And they looked at me and they said, you're here every Tuesday night. You're the reason that they come up here and get services. You are doing volunteer service. So if you need us to write a volunteer letter for you for what you've been doing in the community with Ballroom, we'll do that. And I was like, okay. So they wrote the letter. I submitted it in my package, and that year, I made chief because of what I do in Ballroom and the community. So then I started putting it on my evaluation. All my ballroom, if you look at all my Navy evaluations, it's gonna say United Black Element, it's gonna say RM Society, it's gonna say Abounding Prosperity. All of that is gay advocacy. And like I said, now I have made a rank that people retire with, that they don't never make that rank. So it did a lot for me. And then when I retired, guess what I did? I started my own YouTube channel right out of UBE, not knowing what it was going to do, and not only for YouTube to hit my inbox and say, you are now a YouTube partner, right? And now that I'm a YouTube partner, I can go around recording balls and I get paid every month to do it, and I'm just expanding it. We now got a podcast called Like Win the House, where we have people on there like Boy that's not afraid to speak, so other people that went through his stories, I'm not gonna touch it, but other people that went through your stories can hear and relate. So even though you have not found out or you're trying to figure it out, you're already doing it. You see what I'm saying? So it's okay to not know in the beginning, but realize that somebody watched it, because I see the numbers. Somebody watched it and probably said, oh, okay, that's somebody like me, sharing their intimate stories and things that you normally wouldn't tell anybody else. So I'm just glad to be in the circle of feeding and, connecting the dots.
So, hold my hand. I need you to hold my hand. Because I think that a lot of times when I apologize. I think a lot of times when people ask this question, people automatically assume that I talk about professional life and career goals, but the question is so much deeper than that. So when I started Ballroom, I'm someone who has always dealt with confidence issues. I never was a confident individual. Ballroom taught me how to be confident in myself, so no matter what room I go in, I can go in with a smile in my head. If I can stand in front of a group of people, half naked, and allow them to judge me based on how they perceive me to be, there's nothing that anybody can tell me about me that I don't already know about. So the concepts that you learn in Ballroom are concepts that shift your attitudes and behavior to how you handle life situations. Because even if you haven't realized how it has impacted your life, people like me have. You speak up, you speak out, conflict resolution. If you get chopped, okay, I got chopped. Guess what? It's teaching you something called resilience that you need in life. Something that we all need to evoke right now. Because right now, the way the government is set up, it's not set up for anybody who looks like or loves like the way that I do in this room. And the writing is clearly on the wall. But set small concepts that allow you to shift your perception and your attitudes that will empower your behavior to push through these things are the things that you learn each and every day. And it's okay that you don't have a name for it or don't see it right now, but it's happening. And I think that the role of leadership in Ballroom is so important, because it's these folks that lead you through this process that are in your house and not, that can see these things within you and pull these things and challenge you on these things so you can exist in this world as a better human being each and every day. Every time you summon the courage to get out there and walk a ball on a Wednesday night, on a mainstream night, or a Kiki night, you're learning something and you're applying some principle that someone has taught you or that you have experienced to make you a better person. And you going out there and traveling and doing your big one, you are then motivating other people to do it. Because guess what they can say? Because boy did it, I think I can do it. I'm going to brag on Adam. Adam made me cry one day. Adam said, Chris, I really look up to you so much. And somebody told me that, I'm trying to use your voice. Somebody told me that I remind, that they see me and they thought of you. And that just made me feel really good. And I had never thought of myself as someone that some people can look up to, because I was just navigating life as me. But sometimes it takes people to show up in our lives and say, hey baby, I see you, and I see what you've done for us to realize that. So I'm telling you, even if you don't see it yet, I see it, and keep going.
Yeah. That was beautiful. First, I want to say, I rarely get chopped. No shade. But it's no shame. Going back to what you just said. Oh my God, Gia. Gia, please don't. But it's no shade. Transparent moment between you and me, because we don't talk like that. We'll hug each other and keep it moving. You're actually one of the people that I do look up to. And it has nothing to do with ballroom, it has something to do with your compassion and your love for your people. I go through here and I see a lot, I'm glory to God, and we thank Him. But I genuinely see how you love your people and how you don't mind showing people that you love your people, and I love that, and that's the type of love that I want. You don't have to be scared to love me. You don't have to be embarrassed to love me. Stand in front of everybody, let them know, yeah, this is mine. And you do that for your people, and I love that about you. Ashay.
But like that in part for me is the key essence of ballroom. Because advocacy is nothing other than love. And I think that it goes beyond my people, because everybody in this room, in my house or not, you all are my people, right? And so even though on the floor, we may be competitors, even though we may battle, at the end of the day, we all are a part of the same brand. And I think that it's ways that we can push forward and love and support each other, because at the end of the day, we still go close, we one family. Baby, when we travel, bitch, it's us versus everybody. And I don't care about that. But thank you, I appreciate that. And in this room, there's a lot of love in the room. So I told y'all earlier, y'all almost had me crying, I don't cry, that it was meant to be an intimate session, and that's what it is. Earlier, J-Rock, you talked about the different scenes, trying to take a shift. And so many of us in this room know that there are two scenes in ballroom. There's the mainstream scene, and then there's the Kiki scene. And for those of us in the room who may not be a part of ballroom culture to know the difference, I would like for each of you all, as being members of both, even though Gia, you now are 007, you still are a member of the mainstream scene, to talk about, in your perspective, what is the difference?
Okay, so I started in mainstream. I actually joined ballroom right at the beginning, I would say, movement of the Kiki thing. The difference is, honestly, is the biggest difference in current times is age, right? So let me break it down. Come back to the camera. So in mainstream, the icons and the legends and the pioneers are like 80, 70, and 60-year-old people. In the Kiki scene, we are lovely, young, mid-30s, maybe early 40s, but definitely 40 and under. The originals. Shout out to the House of Juicy, Poochie, Benji Khan, all that good stuff. Pink Lady, yeah, shout out to old ladies, the originals. Yeah, so it's my generation is what I would like to say, and younger. So Jim Mark touched on it earlier, ballroom was one of those eras where, just like Crystal of Asia, where sometimes people that have the control at the moment don't know how to allow new blood to come in and to help gear into the future. So at a point, there's something started off as simple as to help our agencies maintain numbers. It was a place where it allowed a lot of our agency programs that navigated towards youth, so like 25 and younger and things of that nature, to be able to give us a space where we both can gain. We were able to have a space to express ourselves. They were able to have a space to also be able to provide us with information that benefited us, right? And that way we both met both quotas. We got to express ourselves, they got to meet their quota, we got to learn great information. That, honestly, I come from an era in Kiki scene where we battle for gift cards. So, it's a little different over here. But in mainstream, once again, it's a lot of the older people. I started off in mainstream. You gotta have a little thicker skin than Kiki. I don't like to dumb it down or soften it up. Kiki, when I first came in, was literally the epitome of Kiki. Honestly, y'all, when I first started walking Kiki scene, I wasn't walking my main category. I was walking like sex sirens and stuff like that because I was originally taught that we don't walk our category. As Kiki grew, I had to walk my main category because the bitches were coming. But it's different now. Now, what I say was the biggest difference is still age. As far as what is different, as far as criteria, none. You have younger parents. You have younger parents. When I say younger parents, you're looking at mid-20s versus 60-year-olds. So it makes it a little bit more relatable, right? In a sense, sometimes when you're looking for someone to guide, you're not always looking for someone that is a representation of your biological parents. And that's just because we as younger generation don't always feel like they understand us the best, right? I come from, on both sides. Yeah. Mainstream old. I'm part of mainstream. Shout out to all the mainstream girls. It's the realest girls in the building. But the Kiki scene girls are also, honestly, on any given day, I probably will put my money onto the Kiki girls if they have to battle the mainstream girls, because the hunger that's in the Kiki scene, especially here in the Gulf Coast, is such a beautiful thing to see that the mainstream girls want to have a day if these Kiki girls really put up and say, let's do this. So yeah, that's the difference as far as for me. I'm in both. I walk the same shit. I win the same way. I'm region to region, state to state, and all that good stuff. But when it comes down to it, them Kiki girls, yeah.
So Paris, you don't have a mic. You don't have a mic. Not sure you can. No shade, that's what they said. Y'all know what's Paris is in the building, she has to be seen. First I want to start by saying, can you make sure that you save me a box of one of those pieces? I'm still on that. For me, the difference is, to me, Kiki is training grounds. For me, Kiki is where I started. I actually started walking for the first time here in Marty's. And it was a Kiki night. No shade. I do feel like I'm more of a mainstream. So, I do. Let's talk about it.
You said something about Kiki being like training. Bitch, you have more composition in Kiki than you will ever see in mainstream girl.
That's true. That is true.
When you mean training, what are you training for? To win by default?
No, because I'm gonna win regardless.
Because what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna keep using it to build a down payment to keep the once again, them Kiki girls be well more prepared than the mainstream girls. Even the quality of the effects to look be 10 times better.
True. That's very much so
When we
true.
talk about what are we prepping for? We prepping to do what? Win by default?
No, because I don't just walk in the Gulf Coast.
So, I just want one outside maybe twice.
It doesn't matter, and I won both times. Hello. It's no shade. But to me, it was to me because Kiki is what started Boy, right? And I didn't know anything about Ballroom. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know the roles. I didn't know who was who. I didn't know what a legend meant. I didn't know what an icon meant. I didn't know what an up and coming meant. And that's been a discussion for like a month now. You know?
Like a gold star.
Right. I just didn't know. And so Kiki for me was like the introduction to not even just to mainstream, to Ballroom, period. You know? And I then, met people like, the legendary Hershey Gorgeous Gucci. Hey, Grants, how you doing, girl? I love you. When I met people like her, and she actually was like, okay, girl, no shade. You do what you do in Kiki, we finna take it up a notch. You know what I'm saying? And so to go back to the question, because I'm a little tipsy and I don't feel like talking too much. Kiki, to me, was training ground. Now, that was in the beginning. Now,
Kiki to me is, oh, these are the girls to be. No shade. These are the girls that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm no shade. In the Gulf Coast, you're going to see the same girls in the Kiki stream, in the mainstream too, you know, especially in the Gulf Coast. But in the beginning, some of them, because some of them are scared. No shade. But in the beginning, you don't want it with me. But why? Why do you think that is? Can we talk about that?
Have to be part of both things and both subcultures to feel like you're a part of something. If one culture or subculture alone fulfills what you need as far as what you're looking for, why are you part of both? There's no need. If you're getting your family, you're getting your competition, you're getting your whatever assistance you need or any type of services you need through one community, why do you have to explore multiple communities? I think the fact that we program our people to automatically feel like they have to want more than what's outside of their community is crazy. If they found their community and that's their tribe, they shouldn't have to feel like they have to go outside their tribe to be more superior when they're okay being in their tribe when they are superior.
What about on a
So
competitive
I think what I think.
Everybody wants to be in the Olympics. People just want to be.
So
in the
I think that what Gia said is making a lot of sense. And I know where you're coming from. I think that when I think about the Kiki scene and the mainstream scene, at its core is talent there, right? But in the world, you have people who want to navigate both. Like me, I started mainstream and Kiki at the same time, and I enjoyed the navigation of both. But then you have people who got all that they needed within the Kiki scene, cause based on how Kiki operates, it's not easier, but in Kiki you can get a status sooner than what you could in Ballroom, right? Depending on the region or area that you live in, it may be a more easier feat given that the effects may not be as complicated as they would be in mainstream. You know, in some spaces the competition might not be as stringent as it was because you're not battling who's been doing this for years. You're battling novices like this. You're battling novices like yourself. Then on the adverse, you have folk that were in Ballroom before Kiki was ever a Kiki, and Kiki is nothing but a key. To them, Kiki is a playtime to where they have folk like how Gia said when she started in Kiki, you never walked your mainstream category in Kiki. I'm to the Kiki ball to have a good time and just to be a part of Ballroom culture. Because at the end of the day, it's still Ballroom culture, but it's about your purview and the expectation of the things that you want from the space. Sometimes it can be about the coin. And mainstream,
money changed it. Money changed it. Because when the grand prizes became bigger, and even if it was still gift cards, and it became from $100, $50 gift cards to $500 gift cards, it changed, which is why I crossed over from paying Kiki categories to bitch, let me go ahead and get this coin right quick because it's easy money. So it's crazy that money really is the root of all evil, y'all. It was so pure and fun, and it made it chaotic because money became who was going to be the next $1,000 girl. And regardless of what team, you want to be the next $1,000 girl, the next 5K girl, the next 10K girl, that is the goal. And so even in PPC now, it's about the K's. It's no longer about having that fun. It's about winning.
Especially when you need them coins to keep your lights on, to get from point A to point B, or to pay the bills, which is another issue that I have with Ballroom, but we ain't got time to get into that.
I'm here to speak on the new girl's perspective, right? So, Gia, you're a Hall of Famer. You 26 for real?
Yes.
Dang. Dang. But no, it's also because, going back to the conversation about mainstream Kiki, it's also a thing where when you are new and then you hear people, tell you, that your accolades and your accomplishments in Kiki don't really compare to what you can do in mainstream, it kind of has that influence to make you feel like, no shade, what I'm doing in the Kiki scene is not enough. And you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's really a conversation that talks about a lot.
So I'm going to touch base on that because I left mainstream, right, to blossom into the woman you guys see. And I returned back to Kiki first when I first came here, right? So when the rebrand of Kiki here, I was a part of that. And so when I came back into Ballroom overall, I came back in Kiki as a legend. And it was sparked there. Like, I just don't, yeah, like, yeah. Kiki was like one of those things, like, I didn't have to come back to mainstream. I don't think that it took away from anything as far as what I can do in mainstream. I think it was one of those things where I came in and it was a need in a sense for me. And so I came in and I thought, well, I had a good time building. The beginning stages of building Kiki Hair was definitely a good time. We had growing pains, but we had a great pains. Y'all look at, honestly, if this was like already Marty's, like we're about to do Vogue Nights, this room would be a lot different. And I could look at J-Rock and I could look at the Paris and I could say, bitch, do you remember when we used to come here and there was 5 girls in the building? And bitch, look at this. Look at this. So I think that all of it plays a role into how we operate. All of it plays into a role in how the growth happens within the community. I think that if we're able to mesh that line between what Kiki and mainstream is, I don't think that at times people do push that narrative to be that girl to be a mainstream. I don't think you have to. I don't think we all want that, care for that, or need that. I always say it's like a career, you know. Some people are okay being a manager, and then some people are trying to get up to be in the office and just sit there and tell the managers what to do, right? And so you just gotta know where you want, where you feel best, and that's okay.
So I think that to sum up the point about what you said, I think that there's this overarching idea about knowing that you are enough, right? I am enough to be okay with existing in just one space. I am enough to know that I can exist and play in both spaces. I am enough to know that I can bob and weave between the two. And I think that it's important as you assimilate into ballroom leadership that you be the type of leader that you felt like that you once needed as you were growing up, right? Because people can only give you what they got from somebody else. And not saying that what they got from somebody else in which what they gave you was wrong, it's just all that they had to give. But if there's a systematic check that's telling you that, oh baby, that doesn't make sense for me, you have the autonomy to say, guess what, I'm gonna pick and choose what they gave me, and then I'm going to redefine how I give that to somebody else. Right? So Zaparis is my ballroom mother turned real mama. And how she navigates ballroom is completely different than how I navigate ballroom. Now there are some things that I've been able to take from what she's taught me, but I don't navigate the space in the same way that she navigated the space because I had to redefine it for what it looked like for me. Because my level of enough is different from her level of enough.
You can just pay for a drink.
Hey girl, is the tab still open?
No.
Buzz? Can I get another drink?
Oh my God.
Adam.
But
somebody put mine on zero.
but I think that as we continue to move forward and talk about these conversations, I definitely want to open it up to questions from the audience about anything that you heard, anything that y'all want to ask the panelists about their time in ballroom, about their experience in ballroom. Like I said, this is meant to be a dynamic conversation amongst all of us. You know, I started this off saying this, that I want us to be able to have presence in being present. And so now is the time that I hope that we all can be present as a part of the conversation. So does anybody have anything they want to add or ask? So we got Antoine, we got Adam, we got Corinne, we got Justin. Okay.
So one of the questions that you guys received in the group was, how can people support the ballroom community? And I really want to hear that answer from all three.
I want to go first real quick. I want to sum it up real quick. Show up, right? I think that just showing up for each other. Like, all I can ask anybody to do is on a Wednesday night, pull up. I can always be here, but you know, pull up. At a ball that we have locally, show up, right? Because numbers matter, right? Even if you're not on the floor, the energy matters. I've been in ballroom for so long, so that even to this day, I always say this to my kids, like, Big Mama still getting the little butterflies, right? But the energy from the spectators would either make me do okay, or make me actually showcase what the fuck I do. You get what I'm saying? So show up. They always say clapping don't cost you shit once you get in the building. Clap, please clap. I think that it's just kind of like if you've never been to a ball, think of it as you're coming to Pride Parade and you're just so excited, or you're at Mardi Gras, you're just so excited to be there. That's the feeling you need to have if it's your first time, if you're just coming to support and spectate. The people that are actually competing and participating, we feed off that energy, and it definitely elevates us into a different zone to be able to perform at our best.
I think to add to that, we talked about ballroom being many things. We talked about it being family. We talked about it being advocacy, but ballroom is also artistry. And so when we talk about supporting art, what do you do to support your favorite artists, right? So you can show up, you go to concerts. If your artist posts something, you can reshare it, you can hashtag it, you can raise money, you can make donations, you can wear a t-shirt, you can talk about it. I think that there are many ways that you can support the ballroom community, but if you look at it from the context of artistry, because everybody in ballroom is an artist, right? Because ballroom is our form of art. It's how we put on a show. It's about culture, creativity, all these things. So the same way that you support your favorite artist is the same way that you can support the ballroom community, because ballroom is art. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and answer that question too. To all the people out there that's just throwing money around to just anybody and they're not really doing nothing with it, you need to reach out to these alliances on both scenes and build a partnership with the leaders of both scenes. Reach out to the Paris and Hershey of mainstream. Reach out to the Tim and the K.I.N.D of the Kiki scene and build partnerships with alliances, because the alliances is going to hit every house. Every house is going to hit every member, and every member is a part of a sub community, because we're all in ballroom, but some of us is in J-set, some of us in pageantry, some people go to free zone. Some people work at Murder Monday. Some people are in the bear community. You reach all the sub communities by starting at the top. So when y'all want to do like this, when they say that they want to, and I'm serious, because I see this a lot, and I see somebody like J-Rock can't get a dime, but then y'all give it to people that do not put it back into the community. If you tell me that you're giving me $1 million for ballroom, 1,000,001 is gonna go to ballroom, because I'm not looking for a coin, I'm paying for the rest of my life. So you need to reach out to the real, genuine leaders and start supporting the members and the community. And I'm saying that because I'm also on the Tens of Chops Television Network, where you can like, share, and subscribe so you can see what we're doing every Wednesday night, the advocacy we doing. So if you really want to support us, y'all said support, I'm just going to be real deal Holyfield, because Elon Musk saying what the fuck he want to say. So let me say what I want to say. Like, share, and subscribe.
And make sure you do the premium subscription. All right? Adam, you have a question over here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Adam. The question that I have for the panel is, how did you perceive ballroom, whether Kiki or mainstream, when you first started, and how has your experience since then reshaped the way you show up and take space in either scene? Looking ahead, what is your ideal vision for the future of ballroom?
Okay, Adam, you had this compound ass question.
Let me just say, also, you can go to the community page and follow Adam Ninja on his Substack, because that's just what he writes. But I understood the question.
Hey Adam, hey friend. We're gonna have to, because I'm gonna come back and ask you what the second part was, because I already forgot. No shame, no doubt. The first part of your question was, how did I perceive it when I first came in, how I perceived it now, right? Okay. How I perceived it when I first came in was just something to do. It's no shade. I needed something. I had kind of backed away from the church a little bit. I had went through this thing. Hello.
Hello.
You know.
Hello.
You know.
Hello.
I had went through this thing in the church, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of had backed away. I just needed something to take that space. And so it was just something for me to do. Now, it's something that I really don't play about.
It's something that I think about all the time. I literally have dreams about walking balls. I have dreams about, you know what I'm saying, what I'm gonna work next. It's no shade. It's so weird, and I really think it's like I need help. No shade. I literally be having dreams. That's all I think about is like ballroom, what to do next. What can I do to elevate boy in the scene, both scenes. What was the second part of your question?
What is your ideal vision of ballroom? Or if you had it your way, what will ballroom look like?
If I had it my way, what would ballroom look like in the future? No shade. I really would like for us to separate, you know, like personal beef, so to speak, and like ballroom. I feel like everybody kind of like brings their personal stuff into ballroom as far as like in the groups and stuff like that. And I would kind of just like for it to just be like, okay, girl, you know what I'm saying? We rivals, you know what I'm saying? You beat me, I beat you, whatever the case may be, and that is what it is. But a lot of times the girls just can't take that. So I think in the future, it just needs to be a place where it's just like friendly competition and it doesn't go past that. A lot of girls get in their feelings nowadays. Whisper.
Okay, so the first part was how it came. Honestly, on my first ball, they was fighting and shit, y'all. And I remember my house mother, shout out to the legendary Mina Ibisu.
Yeah.
My first house mother, I heard her say, girl, you don't make me part of this shit. Mind you, she found me in what Chicago calls Boys Town. Yeah, shout out to Boys Town. I was one of the little harass on the block hanging out because I was young and we got to hang out at the time back then. We got to really hang out in the neighborhood and like really kick it, turn up, drink 4 Locos and shit, you know. Those that she found me on the block, you know, hanging out. My first ball, they fought. If I'm not mistaken, somebody got cracked with a trophy. At that point, I didn't know if I wanted to be part of it, but I know it was serious.
Bitch, yes. Now.
As y'all see, in my corporate life, I went to college off a track scholarship. So just knowing how sports operate, I just correlated with ballroom. And also being from the west side of Chicago, I also knew that, okay, fight, passion, that's what we do. Got it. One man, one sound. By the second ball, I was accustomed to the fighting or to whatever the case may be. A lot of times it was just overly aggressiveness. Passion, because we want to be proud, we're so proud of the organization we're part of, that sometimes we just defend it with anger versus just finding different ways to express our passion. Today, ballroom is tricky. What would I have changed? Not a damn thing. Still that girl, been that girl. So honestly, I enjoy it all. It comes with its ups and downs. You get a little bit of the bad, the good. I am the future. And I also am the present, but I was also part of the past. Reinventing yourself is something that I can always teach my youth. Is that I'm a bitch that reinvents yourself. Shout out to me, and shout out to the house of Nike for seeing that in me. Yeah, honestly, we're falling out about it, but on some real shit, shout out to the house of Nike. I think that as you find yourself, you reinvent yourself, and I think that Ballroom has allowed me, the organizations that I've been a part of have allowed me to reinvent myself into the different personas, personalities, or whatever the case may have been at that moment, and have accepted me and be able to groom me, nurture me in those natures. And so it's a beautiful thing. So I don't think anything's gonna change. The past me was a little scary bitch. The new me, no, I wasn't. I fought that too. But you know, it was different. Ballroom, y'all, is crazy. We have so much rules now that when I came into, there was no such thing as an alliance and a bitch being banned.
Yeah.
Like I could literally beat your ass, come to the next box and beat your ass again, and still compete. So now it is safer. It definitely is a safe space. I think it was a safe space back then too. I just think that it was at a point that we were able to handle those situations. I think one thing about Black and brown people is that sometimes aggressiveness and anger is how we express our love and our care for each other. And it's crazy to say that, but it is. And it is a generational curse we have to break, but I think that that's something that was taught down to us, and we just continue to just enforce it. Other than that, Ballroom, shout out to Ballroom, shout out to both scenes, shout out to the Gulf Coast, shout out to the Midwest. Yeah,
Like I said, I really didn't know what to make of Ballroom when I first seen it. Like I said, it was brought to me by my kids, and when I looked at it, it just looked like performing arts to me. Because it was like a lot of gay people doing many different categories. It looked fun, and like I said, it was an escape. Basically an escape. I said that earlier, escape. How it's changed a lot over the years. A lot of things have got, won't speak on it. How I show up, it has changed how I show up though. Because at first I started Ballroom just for me, just to get away, right? And an escape. Then I started getting kids. Then after I started getting kids, I started being the leader of a house. Then I had to change, my whole Ballroom persona had to change due to the fact I started seeing that not only in the real world was I a leader, everything that I said and did could affect something that happened in Ballroom. If I get into a fight, many people will jump, and I may not even get a chance to even touch them. But what is that gonna be when the police come and don't get me, but get the person that jumped? So I have to watch what I say a lot. I have to watch what I do, and it ain't like, it's not like I'm mad about it, but it changed kind of how I show up. I kind of bite my tongue now. I don't throw people through walls no more. I don't do that kind of stuff, you know. Like, yeah, y'all better ask some people about the old J-Rock. But I don't do those things no more. But I don't do those type of things no more because me doing that and just being a hothead could cost somebody else like their freedom or something like, or get hurt for that matter. So I have to be mindful of some of the things I do, some of the things I say. For the future of Ballroom, I just wish that they become more resilient because of some of the things that are happening in the government right now. And a lot of people don't take stuff serious, and I told them every time I have a microphone and I have a presence, I will mention it. We have to come together. All the fighting each other, that person you're fighting might be the person that's gonna help you take a bottle pitched at your head, or you have to go and fight for your rights because they are literally in our face, no conspiracy, taking away everything that everybody before us fought for. So we have to build a resilience to be able to fight government. They already dropped they trying to eradicate trans. So it's not even LGBTQIA, it's just LGB now, literally and legally. But just like somebody said online, you can take it away on paper, but trans is still here. So if y'all trying to make it illegal, y'all trying to do it, we have to be able to stand up and fight for our brothers, our sisters. In case somebody come in here, we gotta be ready to stand together. And it's gonna take a certain level of resilience. It's gonna take a certain level of knowledge of how your government works, how your local government works, where we can go, where we can move, what is safe space. That's what I want Ballroom to start paying attention to. The Ballroom and the scene and all that stuff gonna always be there. But do y'all know how to mobilize and move together? That's what I want them to start paying attention to. We're wrapping it up.
I gotta be a real bitch. It's no shade. These girls are not gonna be here on time, and this shit is probably helping somebody. The girls are not even gonna be here on time.
So don't rush it.
So don't rush it.
Don't rush the process, bitch. I heard that.
It's no shade. You know
It's on Tens of Chops. It's on Tens of Chops.
Hold on.
Shout out to Tens and Chops.
This is not my space, it's somebody else's space.
Right.
Hold on.
Cool, so I'll ask them.
But we was finished anyway. That was the questions. No, you can't. I'm sleeping. It's on Tens of Chops.
Okay.
It is recorded live.
So I think, so when I'm gonna elevate what J-Rock was talking about, but I feel like that's a deeper conversation, and I don't want to take a dive into that without setting a space for us to be able to apply context to reason, so people can really understand what's really happening and what's going on.
Resources.
Because I'm actually planning an event around there called Your Voice, Your Rights Right Now, that I hope to have here today. So we're gonna hold up off that.
Do we have a part two?
Absolutely.
We can do that. We can definitely do that.
Absolutely.
But to sum up part one of this conversation, the thing that I want people to understand is that
Your voice matters.
Kiki saying icon. Come on, action.
well, we were
make an exclusion for the current reigning Gulf Coast KTC Vice President, Corinne Pink Lady. Make some fucking noise. Dun, 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 dun. That's the wrong music. But wait a minute.
Right. No, my thing was just, honestly, what would just keep y'all in Ballroom? Because, like, for me, it's my kids. I can never leave Ballroom because I got my kids in Ballroom. I became a mother through Ballroom, right? So what would keep y'all, it's for all of y'all, and then we can wrap it up for real, for real. What's going to keep y'all in Ballroom?
So, you know, the gag is, I would have answered my kids, right? But recently, maybe like 48 hours ago, I was having a son. I was having a conversation with one of my sons that happens to be one of the twins. And I know, but she's over here. And 10 of the chops don't what I look like. So, you know, and he told me that he always shows up for me in Ballroom because I show up for him in his real life. Right? So at that point, I stepped back and I thought about it, that Ballroom was more important to Gia than it was to him. Right? But the fact that it was important for Gia, it made my child, who I show up for everything else outside of Ballroom, for it be like, it's important to me. So I will be there. Regardless of what last name we carry or whatever it gets to be, they will show up. And so what keeps me in Ballroom is that I know, honestly, very transparent, y'all, what keeps me in Ballroom is a lot of times you hating ass bitches that don't like me. That's what keeps me here. What keeps me motivated to always be on my A game is the fact that I have individuals that don't maybe love Ballroom as much as Gia does following me. So I always make sure I present to my best ability because I want them to know that if they're gonna do it, they need to always bring their A game. But what keeps me here is you hating ass bitches.
Alright, work on team.
No shade, you hating ass bitches will make me leave. It's no shade. I don't know. What keeps me in is no shade. I'm gonna drop names. It's the Phenoms, it's the Hersheys, it's the Tim Tims, it's the Chris's. That's what keeps me here because those male figures literally step in when I never had a male figure. Hershey. Hershey. She's a piece of trans. Let her tell me. Girl. But it's those people that keep me here because they fill in the gap in my life individually that I never had growing up. And I always found myself looking for it. And I never knew that I was gonna find it in Ballroom, and then I found it in them. It's no shade. If I never walked the ball again, I would still be around because of those people. No shade.
I love you.
Like I said, 17 years, what's going to keep me going in Ballroom? I don't know. To be honest with you, I left Ballroom 1,600, 14,050 times already. And I keep coming back because there's always a need outside of just being on the floor in the competition. It's always that new person that needs something in real life, but it was connected through Ballroom. As for my voice, I know that I have influence. I know that I can move things outside of Ballroom when it comes to City of Dallas resources, building rapport, that kind of stuff. So that keeps me going. But the real thing that keeps me going in Ballroom is, just like I was in the military, I cannot leave without finding my replacement. So if I want to retire, I can't retire until I find not only just one, two, three, maybe 4 people that can do what I did and better when it comes to making connections, building rapport, getting people off the streets, feeding people, making sure they're getting housing, those important things. I already got one, which is right here, Chris. No, you brought it over there, I'm talking about my replacement. As in someone, I'm talking about as in someone that I feel that when I look back at how I was in my 20s, it was Chris. It was the, oh my God, J-Rock, you got so much energy. Oh, you so loud. Oh, you don't care. Oh, you know, that's Chris. So that's what I'm saying. That's one, but I need more to do better than what I did so I can just sit back, go ahead and do things in community, period. Because my calling, Like y'all may have seen how I have changed my picture and they calling me Cedric Luther King. You know what I'm saying? But I am serious as a heart attack when I said Sunday. I don't know why, but something hit me I can't just be Ballroom no more. I'm gonna have to be on city council. I'm gonna have to be mayor. I'm gonna have to be the one that's out there speaking because nobody's gonna speak for us. So I can't spend all my time in Ballroom when I need to be helping out people, period. You see what I'm saying? But I can't leave it if I don't have people that's gonna keep it going the right way.
And then I think to round it out, I think that for me, honestly, the thing that keeps me so ingrained in Ballroom, like Ballroom has become one of my priorities, is the people.
I know it's me, but so much other people.
No, I would have said Corinne. It's the people, because I think that the people that really, really know me know that at my core, I'm really not a people person. Because I have to be a people person all the time because of the work that I do. But in a perfect world, I would just be alone by myself in my house and not talk to nobody. But I think for me, Ballroom, the thing that keeps me here is the people. No shade. I think that to be able to be a part of a community where people can be their authentic selves, I have the opportunity to see people transition into who they were meant to be and see the joy that transition has brought them. I've had the opportunity to see people become fathers and father. I've had the opportunity to see people become mothers and mother and lead. I've had the opportunity to see people be resilient and start at the bottom and rise to the top. I think about Tyler. Tyler had 2 left feet when he first started, and now Tyler is the one to be. And so the thing that keeps me here is the people. And I think that for me, the level of advocacy that I see in Ballroom that the people demonstrate reminds me of things such as civil rights. Things of fighting for freedom during slavery, because those folk had to fight against so much opposition. They had to fight against a system that did not see it for them, but because they knew how to see it for themselves, they made it. And I think that for me, each and every day that I see someone walks a ball at Marty's, or see that someone travels out of state to walk a ball, I can say that's my people. And they're putting it all on the floor and leaving it out. If they can do that, I can do that. And that pushes me to want to create more space for my people through the privilege, through the access, through whatever connection that I have. What keeps me steadfast is the people. It's y'all. So share. It's Gia, Corinne, Boy, J-Rod. Okay, and so I think that there's a. As for how much time we got? We got some more time. Okay, so they ready to transform. We're gonna have to say that for part 2. So what I'm gonna say is that, one, for everybody that came out, I appreciate you all. I value you all. Make some noise for yourselves for being here. Make some fucking noise. The thing that I want you all to take away from today is that Ballroom is many things. It's family, it's culture, it's expression, but at its core, at its root, it's advocacy. So each and every one of you who walks the ball, who has the courage to get out there, you are an advocate even if you don't fucking know it. So you have a role to play in the space that you create for other people. You have a role to play in being a steward of the next generation. So even if you're not a leader, even if you walk one time, even if you're somebody who got shot, what you put out is a form of advocacy that we appreciate and we value. Make sure you tap in and stay tuned. We have a part 2 coming real motherfucking soon. And be on the lookout for the next section. Your voice, your rights, right now. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you the mastermind behind tonight, none other than Mr. Community himself, Antoine Wiley with AIDS Walk South Dallas. And I hope to see you at the walk.
Real quick. When he gave me the mic, what's the tea? What's the tea? It's no shame. I do want to say this because I have, hold on, Gia, real shit. I have seen this a lot lately, and I want to be a difference in this because I do feel like that the younger generation, the newer girls, give the older people a lot of hell. So I want to say this to J-Rock, to Paris, to Gia, to Chris, and to all the more seasoned people in Ballroom. I appreciate y'all. I really do, because it's no shade. There would never be a space like this for us to have moments like this if y'all never open those doors and open those windows. I just want to say I appreciate y'all. I love the hell out of y'all, and I swear to God, I'm rocking behind y'all. No shade. Here you go, man.
Can we give it up for our panelists? So I had a dream. I had a dream on last year that I wanted to do this, and last year it did not happen. But
Excuse me.
but I'm so grateful to my godson. Can we give it up for my godson, Christopher? Can we give it up for Martin's Live and DJ Rude Boy? So this month is National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness, and I wanted to do something in this month to show observance to this awareness day. So this was absolutely perfect. This could not have gone any better than it did on tonight. I echo Chris. Those who are meant to be in the room are in the room. And so I appreciate each of you who showed up to be in the room and to share your voice in this space with us. I kind of handpicked J-Rock. I've known J-Rock a long time, since he was a young man. And he's always been so incredible. And of course, my baby, boy. I love him so much. They just don't know. Even before Ballroom, that was my baby. So I'm so grateful. And to the beautiful Gia. Yes, so clap it up. So there will be a part two. We will discuss this in our private group on when that will be, so we can make sure that it's advertised well in advance. Who'd rather be? So we can make sure that we get the date out well in advance for advertisement. So of course, I can't pay you, but I definitely want to be a blessing to each of you. So I have an envelope for each of you, and it's not a gift card. And actually, what's in the envelope, something just laid on my heart that I want to increase what's in the envelope. So just hang on. And of course, this is for my godson. There's no pizza left. Okay.
There ain't no pizza left.
I got you a box. So once again, thank you, and thank you.
Okay, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to Tens and Chops Chops. Or
either you're a 10
or Chop Network. This is Gia La Bonita, Mother 007. Make sure you guys stay tuned as we do part 2. Shout out to the host of tonight, Chris Walker, Nike, DMV, the one and only. As always, we'll see y'all in about 5 minutes. Love y'all.
PSA. And this is Dr. Do Good, and that was your daily Do Good. Make sure you tune in to the Dallas Tens and Chops Gulf Coast Kiki Network, where we always do it